Come, let's break bread. Come, have a seat at the table. Eating together is one of the most basic, fundamental social aspects of human life. Historically, breaking bread and that sharing of food would build community and trust. There are some key moments in our lives where we're bound together for a few hours, a few days, and sometimes a few weeks with strangers and loved ones in the same space. This is usually at weddings. Weddings have a unique idea of being able to galvanize a whole range of people together for the purpose of bringing loved ones together. This is usually ended with a climatic ending of the feeding of guests. Now, irrespective of your social, your spiritual, your cultural traditions, one tradition remains the same at a wedding, and that is food. You have to feed your guests. Taking that concept, let's think more about how food can connect communities and what impact that this convivial eating has on us all. Much research concludes that social eating will enhance an individual's happiness, increase social bonding, and can provide emotional support. But even though we know what the impact of social eating does, here in the UK, we have a very solitary approach to eating, with over half of our midweek meals being eaten solo. When was the last time you shared your meal with someone? When was the last time you were sitting in a coffee shop frantically working and thought, I want to share this coffee with a stranger? The impact of lone eating increases with age, with those over the age of 55 saying that it's more likely that around a quarter of their time is spent eating alone. So I'm going to take you back to a moment in time, and I'm going to explain the power of memory, the power of food, and the power of taste, and how easily our memories can transport us and connect our minds to a memory when it's linked to food. So the sound of the pressure cooker for me will take me straight back to my mum's kitchen. I'm 4 years old and I'm sitting on the floor and I'm sifting through the grains of lentils and rice, trying to get rid of the stones and the debris. I'm using a large wicker tray with the inscription of Mauritius marked onto it, although fading each day, almost like the memories of my mother's home fading more and more each time she cooks. I'm listening to that soft whistle of the pressure cooker as my mum cooks that frugal meal of lentils and rice. As this memory formed me, it provides me with comfort. It gives me emotional stability, but most of all, it grounds me. The aroma of thyme, garlic, chili, ginger, the sweetness of tomatoes would always navigate me back home, no matter where in the world I'd place myself in the next chapters of my life. After school, as children, every evening we would sit on the table, eager and hungry to eat our simple food, which we describe as mase pauvre, a poor meal of a Mauritian family in Southampton. Steamed condensations forming on the windows, dim lights, and a cold house. But the dinner table was filled with generational recipes, traced back and able to survive the distance of 6,500 miles away. Their hearts on our plates, those generational and ancestral recipes linking us to our culture. Food is a memory that kept me grounded, and food is the epicenter for which it draws me to other people, to those significant people in my life. And because food was home and home was food, I used to navigate towards people based on the culture that they shared with food. In large groups, I would naturally migrate to my comfort zone, which was to go straight into the kitchen, find a dexy, which is a Mauritian saucepan big enough to feed a small village. The peeling of onions, the frying of spices, that perfect alchemy of flavors would bring comfort to lost souls. My friends and family were my happy guinea pig, happily devouring one plate at a time, of those nostalgic memories on a plate. Armed with what I felt would change the world, my generational recipes, my heritage, passed down from my mum, my dad, my grandparents, I decided to change my career and enter MasterChef. I took this change in career because I wanted to change the way people saw different cultures and the way that people perceived the world. And I won MasterChef with carefully constructed memories on a plate. Now, my final 3 dishes were moments in time, and these dishes won me the title of MasterChef because they were based on memories, they were based on nostalgia, and they were based around love. One of the dishes that I cooked takes me straight back to Mauritius, and I'm 12 years old. We're sitting in a marquee, in a sweltering hot marquee, at the wedding of a cousin. Now, I don't think we were really cousins, if I'm honest with you, because in Mauritius, everyone's related to each other somehow. However, sitting in this marquee, sweltering hot, mosquitoes feeding off us. However, we're bound by family and strangers, all eating together. And what we ate was a traditional set curry, a traditional dish cooked only at weddings. Now that sweetness of the set curry bound those strangers together for that joyous moment in time. A few months after winning MasterChef, I met a lady on the street, and she cried when she met me because she said I was the jewel of the Indian Ocean, and that she was so proud that I'd put Mauritius on the map, and that I shared our poor and island-inspired dishes. Now, this always resonated with me because that same tray that I used to sift the rice and lentils on the kitchen of my mum's house had a faded inscription that said, "Mauritius, the pearl of the Indian Ocean." Now, I was a stranger to her, and she was a stranger to me. But it's that moment when I realized that food has a unique ability to harness communities together. And food is a conduit where change can happen. Food can nourish a tired soul. Food can and does bring communities together. Now, the pandemic taught each one of us something. Now, whether that meant that you wanted to change your career, that you hadn't quite achieved enough in your life, or maybe the takeaway was that we as humans were just not nearly as kind enough. Now, whatever the outcome, the world did change, be it for a few months and in some cases years. But for me, the outcome was that food can bring people together, and it can connect people from across the globe, no matter their social status, cultural background, religious values, or political views. The tool of food has this universal impact across the globe to empower, engage, and ultimately nourish communities. So during the pandemic, my small team at the restaurant decided to feed the city. We wanted to make sure that we could share our love with a tired group of people, from key workers to the elderly, to the vulnerable, to the homeless. We prepared these meals with love. And when we went out to deliver these meals, people communicated with us. And some people even cried unto us. And I don't think that would have happened if it wasn't for us bringing food made out of love. That power of finding truth in people can't be expressed any other way without sharing food around a table. Sharing recipes and changing the way people cook is a privilege and an opportunity that I never thought possible. When I changed my life, when I entered MasterChef, I was the first woman of colour to win a national TV cooking competition. After I'd won, I then noticed many other women competed. They then also went on to win MasterChef as well. The narrative here is that food can educate, food can change, and food can move a community. And food is such a basic factor in all of our lives. It has the ability to connect the unconnected. And food is community, and community is food. And the way we continue to connect and identify ourselves will come from the dialogue that we have from sharing those ancestral and generational recipes around a table. So if you take anything from my talk, make just 3 changes. I'm not asking you to change your schedule or change the way you eat, I'm just asking you to sit with 3 different people each week. Share stories, share happiness, share disappointments. Strengthen those relationships that you already have and find new relationships. Choose those sentimental meals and share those ancestral and generational recipes, even if it is a Marse Pov meal, a bit like our Mauritian lentils and rice. Find that comfort that you want to share with someone else, even if it's a marmalade sandwich, just like Paddington Bear. Eating is the most basic, fundamental human aspect, but if we share food with someone and we will grow our communities, we will end up nourishing our communities 1 plate at a time. Thank you.